Welcome to the Lights Out podcast. Bedtime stories for when the lights go out. For angels and princes and boys and girls. The next 15 episodes are inspired by the ultimate book list on social skills. Check out the information on each one of these episodes where you can download these books all for free, and they're really, really good, and I'm reading them to my girls and they like them. I've got a book in there as well, so that's why I got involved. I hope you like them. It's been great reading them. So please make sure you hit subscribe or like or whatever button there is to make sure that the next story I read, which is probably going to be very, very soon, pops up on your dad's phone or your mum's phone or your phone or whoever's device. And I hope you enjoy these books and these stories as you close your eyes and drift off to sleep. Good evening, boys and girls. Are you ready for bed? Are you ready for another story? Well, this story is called Can a Cookie Change the World? A little plan and a big heart go a long way. Written by Rhonda Bolling. Once upon a time, Tessa's chocolate chip cookies filled her whole house with the scent of their just-baked goodness. On her list of favourite things to do, baking was close to the top. Lately, she had been thinking of ways to help some people in her community. She took a warm plate of cookies up to her room. Maybe she was too young to really make a difference, but she kept thinking. She got dressed for the day and went downstairs. She had an idea that she wanted to run by her parents. "Mom, Dad," said Tessa, "I'd like to do something to help the homeless people in our town. What if I had a table at the mall for the Christmas bazaar and asked for donations that we could give to the homeless shelter?" "That sounds like a great idea. Would you give anything in return for donations?" Tessa's mom asked. "I could give them a cookie," Tessa suggested as she thought the idea through. "Or maybe a bag of cookies if they donate a larger amount." Since she had been very young, Tessa's determination and strong work ethic were evident to her parents. When she set her mind to something, she followed it through. Her parents were happy to encourage and support this idea she had. Since the Christmas bazaar was only a few weeks away, they had a lot of work to do. She set a goal to make 600 cookies. They pulled out their favorite family recipes and checked their inventory and supplies. They would need huge bags of flour and sugar and lots of eggs and butter. With their list in hand, they drove to the grocery store to get started. After a weekend of baking with their mom, Tessa called some friends to tell them about their idea. Since they had time off from school for Christmas break, they asked if Tessa wanted to help. And of course, she was happy to have their company and extra hands. They got together at Tessa's house and spent hours frosting cookies. Stiff backs and tired arms may have slowed them down a bit, but it didn't stop them. After decorating all the cookies, Tessa decided it would be fun to add different cookie recipes to all kinds of the other treats, like cupcakes, cake pops, chocolate-dipped pretzels, and more. It was easy to get excited and keep thinking of new things they could have at their table. Grandpa Ron pitched in too. Usually, Grandma Sandy was the queen caramel corn maker, but since her ALS had progressed, she was only able to wear the supervisor hat as Tessa and Grandpa Ron whipped up the secret recipes. Bags and bags of caramel corn lined all the counters in Tessa's grandparents' kitchen. Tessa was sure this would be a hot commodity at the table, as it had been a family favorite for as long as she could remember. "Grandpa, Grandma," Tessa asked, "do you like the name Kid Cookies for a cause?" "For my fundraising project." Her grandparents agreed it was a perfect name. Only 4 days remained until the Christmas bazaar. Finally, the date circled in red marker on the calendar arrived, And wow, was Tessa ever nervous. What if no one showed up? What if she didn't make any money for the homeless shelter? She had all the normal scary thoughts most people do when they try new things. Could she really make a difference? Would all the hard work be worth it? She decided to replace the negative thoughts with positive ones. She prepared for this, and it was going to be a great day. She just knew it. With their car jam-packed, they arrived at the mall early to set up. They unloaded bin after bin of cookies and supplies. Posters were hung, and the treat table was ready. Then the first customer showed up, and they just kept coming and coming. What a great idea, some said. Others said, where's the famous caramel corn? As the donations flowed in, the cookies and treats flowed out. Within 4 hours, the table was empty, and the cash box was overflowing. This is what Tessa had prayed for. Over $1,000 was made for the homeless shelter that day. Tessa's dad matched her fundraising that year, so he had twice the amount to give to the homeless shelter, which enabled them to purchase food, bedding supplies, and warm winter clothes, and gloves to give away when needed. They even bought a few small appliances for the shelter. Not too many weeks later, she noticed a homeless man she had seen several times before. He wasn't wearing the old worn-out clothes and boots she had seen him wearing in the past, but much newer and warmer winter gear. She even thought she saw him smiling. Happy tears formed in Tessa's eyes. Their work had undoubtedly helped quite a few people. She definitely wanted to do it again. Could she make even more of a difference now that she knew what to do? A few months after Tessa's first fundraiser, her friend Shelby got very sick. She was having a hard time at school and often felt tired and sick to her stomach. She was losing weight and drank water like a camel. Then the doctors figured out that she had diabetes. Shelby cried. Her family cried too. She would need to poke her finger many times every single day to test her blood sugar and learn how to give herself insulin injections. They would work towards an insulin pump that would be attached to Shelby's body so that she would not have to have so many shots. Tessa decided she would do another fundraiser at the Christmas bazaar, and this time it would benefit diabetes education so that she could help more kids like Shelby. With experience as her helper, Tessa wrote a list of what she'd need to prepare for the next Christmas bazaar. She started several months ahead and froze dozens of cookies and cakes and candies. Her mom helped her order festive packaging in bulk quantities and even set up a Facebook page for Kids Cookies for a Cause. More friends joined in the efforts. She still didn't know how much her fundraising project would help, but she definitely didn't want to give up. She kept a positive attitude and worked hard. The second year that Tessa had a treat table at the mall, she raised even more than the first year. It was so encouraging to give people a way to help others. Not only were they helping Tessa with the project, but they were affecting many, many people involved with a cause that they were supporting. She wanted to continue to fund more projects and kept a constant eye out for those who needed help. Well, you remember Grandma Sandy, right? Tessa's grandma was very special to her. What her grandma was going through with ALS made those who knew her very sad. Grandma Sandy had always been the one to plan big family dinners and was warm and welcoming to all. People respected her for her kindness, wisdom, and positive attitude. Grandma Sandy had taught Tessa's mom how to be strong, and Tessa's mom taught Tessa to be strong. Tessa learned early in life that positive attitude was crucial to success and happiness. She also knew that she wanted to raise money for ALS Therapy Development Institute, TDI, to help find a cure for ALS in honor of her grandma. Throughout the year, Tessa planned carefully. She raised money with yard sales and took donations for supplies. She had her recipes organized by when she would bake them and mapped everything, including her marketing plan, on a big calendar. Rental of the school's kitchen for a few nights made it possible for a mass cookie production. Grandma Sandy had so many friends who cooked for Tessa's table that year, More cookies, cakes, chocolate-dipped pretzels, candies and caramel corn were donated than ever before. Because Tessa kept showing up year after year, her table was popular and people were excited to support the mission of Kids Cookies for a Cause. People flowed in by the hundreds to support ALS at Tessa's treat table. You'd never guess that they could raise over $9,000, but that's exactly what happened. She couldn't wait to tell Grandma Sandy that amazing news. Tessa continued supporting great causes by giving to Special Olympics the next year. She had several friends whose yearly highlight was to participate in the Special Olympic Games. Training all year with swimming, running, biking, and all kinds of exercises prepared the athletes for competition and encouraged them to dream as they aimed for their goals. Their struggles built strength and determination. The losses taught them always to keep trying, and the victories were triumphant and joyful. All of it brought celebration, fun, and memorable experiences with family and friends. The expensive travel, however, was a huge burden to many participants, and Tessa knew her help would go to great use. She was incredibly honored to give to Special Olympics. There was never a shortage of those needing help. Tessa wanted to help them all, but chose, for her 5th year, a fundraiser for a sweet 6-year-old girl named Lexi. For a long time, Lexi's parents and her doctors couldn't figure out why she was so sick and in such horrible pain. Then they discovered she had a rare disease called CRMO. That disease caused her bones to easily break and for her body to always hurt. The doctors tried many things, hoping to help Lexi and lessen her pain, but not much worked. Many times a year, Lexi had to travel far away from her remote community for tests and treatments. She needed a helper to be by her side many hours throughout the day. Her doctors thought a service dog would be a valuable addition to Lexi's care. To Tessa, this seemed like the perfect opportunity for Kids Cookies for a Cause to get involved. They were going to raise funds to help Lexi get a service dog. Because so many people in town had heard about Lexi and wanted to help, cookie donations overflowed the table. The Coast Guard station did a fundraiser to help Lexi's family also. The community workers worked together to raise the most funds of any year yet. And guess what? Lexi got a service dog and named her Iggy. Iggy was so sweet. She enjoyed getting smothered by Lexi's hugs and kisses, and she retrieved things that Lexi needed and sometimes helped her walk. Iggy knew just how to comfort her girl when she was sad and in pain. Iggy even got to go to the hospital with Lexi, and no one minded that Iggy hopped right on her bed. Everyone loved Iggy, but especially Lexi and her family. Tessa's heart overflowed seeing Lexi and Iggy together. Serving others gave her such a feeling of purpose. She witnessed kindness being paid forward all around her. It was amazing how a tiny idea had sprouted wings and grown, and it had helped so many people. She was so thankful she had acted on the idea in the first place, because it was changing her life and making a huge impact on the lives around her. Tessa didn't stop after helping Lexi. No way. The next year, she helped raise almost $10,000 for the local community connections, in addition to collecting dozens of bags of cold weather gear, which she helped distribute to the elderly and children and adults with disabilities. Other exciting things started to happen too. As Tessa's fundraiser grew, so did she. Not just in age and height, but in wisdom, experience, strength, and how much love she had to share. And do you know what else? Tessa was only 12 years old when she received a Volunteer of the Year. This award was from the First Lady of her state. She even traveled to her state capital of Juneau, Alaska, for a special ceremony and presentation. Another time she sat right next to Alaska's U.S. Senator Lisa Murkowski at a special dinner, talking with the senator about how community service helps build and strengthen communities, encouraged Tessa that her work was making a difference far beyond her little island town. Her first-hand experience proved that big obstacles were much easier to overcome when people worked together and supported each other. In the year right before this book, Tessa chose Casting for Recovery to receive her fundraising money. She chose it because she knew a lot of people who had dealt with breast cancer. The women Tessa knew who had attended the previous retreat were challenged, strengthened, and blessed by all they had learned and the new friendships they had made. The outpouring of love and donations from so many of the champion survivors, along with friends and family, blew Tessa away. You probably won't be surprised to learn that these fundraisers grew even bigger in cookie donations and actual fundraised and set another fundraising record for Kids Cookies for a Cause. Now, you know the story of Tessa and the little idea that she put into action. Just because this book has come to an end, however, doesn't mean the work is finished for Tessa or for Kids Cookies for a Cause. You'll have to check in on them to see how they're doing. And now you're left with some questions to think about. Can a cookie change the world? Or do you think it was the heart of the person behind the cookie that changed the world? Whatever you end up deciding, know this for sure. If you have an idea that you think will help someone, do everything you can to act on it. Because if you do, you can change the world too. Even if it's just one person or one cookie at a time. The end.